Good evening, gentlemen. Dosto, good evening. I'm going to talk to you on a very, very important topic today, and that concerns you, me, everybody. You have read the news everywhere. आपने सुनी भी होगी ये news, and the basic news is that Donald Trump has faced an assassination attempt. ये छोटी न्यूज़ नहीं है. It's a very major news. Donald Trump, आप जानते हैं, was the president of America from 2016 to 2020. And then there was a election which I call it a little dubious, in which he was defeated. And then there was a spontaneous reaction to that from the public, which went and occupied the Capitol Hill. And later Donald Trump had to face charges, and even now he's facing charges for having instigated an insurrection against the American state. So, gentlemen, ये तो news है, and I'm not going to discuss the news. Everybody knows the gunman था, उसने गोली चलाई, and बाल बच गए Donald Trump. But question arises ये है कि how did this happen, and what is the reason, the ether कि Donald Trump is to be killed? See, ये एक अमेरिका की peculiarity है कि they are following the path of firearms, gun battles, violence in American society. That's number one. Number two, America politics and foreign relations are dominated by the military economic complex. And anybody who goes against this complex has to be eliminated. Now, presently, Joe Biden is the president, and he's following the policies which have been laid down earlier by President Obama. Before I say anything further, मैं आपको बताऊंगा that President Obama is a latent Muslim. He was born as a Muslim, his father is a Muslim, and he spent 2 years in a madrasa. These are the hard facts. But then I have a feeling that he probably knew that he had little chance of becoming the president of America if he continued as a Muslim. So he had a change of heart. Maybe he had a vision or whatever it is, I can't say. But he renounced Islam. But his latent feelings were always in favor of Islam and against America. Perhaps when he was president of America, he must have felt a tinge of sadness that the earlier American presidents had hundreds of black slaves working on the farms, and some of them were also used for the pleasure of the presidents. So probably all this was weighing on him, and he led America away from the path of greatness during the 8 years he was president. Now we come to the next aspect of the thing is that in 2016, a very surprise thing happened when Donald Trump beat Hillary, who was the wife of President Clinton, and he became the president. He brought with him certain revolutionary ideas which, the socio-military complex which dominates America didn't want it. And what were the things which he had brought? He said NATO is an obsolete organization, should be discarded. Secondly, if the European powers have to have security, they must pay for it. Thirdly, he was of the view that America should not fight unnecessary wars overseas and spend trillions of dollars, and it's better to make America great by looking after the people in America. Fourthly, he was against migration, unorganized migration, like he wanted a wall to be made on the Mexican border to stop the Hispanics. He had even stopped the migration of the Muslims from so many countries, at least 6 of them, to America. And he was a staunch supporter of Israel. Another thing was, he changed the capital, rather accepted the capital from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He did that. So, gentlemen, Trump was a revolutionary, and he also made the opening to President Kim of North Korea, when he had two meetings with him. It's a big thing. He also brought in the peace accord between the Arabs and Israel and UAE and Bahrain and Sudan. They signed the peace pact with Israel and recognized it as an independent state and entity. So people are not happy with these things, particularly the far left. Now, the far left in America and in the European continent are those people who are looking for ways and means in which they can suppress the rightists, that is, those who believe in a different set of principles. And Donald Trump is associated with the rightists, and so he had to be eliminated. So, gentlemen, in the recent election in France, also we have seen what has happened. The entire centrists and the left ganged up against Le Pen, who was the leader in the first round of the elections. With the result, her party was reduced to number 3 and has no chance of forming the government. So the same thing, they wanted to keep Donald Trump out, come what may, from the presidency, because if he becomes president, then he will have brought in all the changes which I have said, which he had promised he will do. And the military economic complex didn't want it. They wanted the war in Russia to continue, Russia to be destroyed, and once they destroyed Russia, then they would think about China. Well, that is the actual fact of what was happening, and so Donald Trump had to be eliminated. They tried so many ways. The first was the legal methods. Now, as I told you, there was the insurrection on Capitol Hill, and they put about a number of charges against him, that he had organized the insurrection, inspired it to destroy the American state. Then they caught him on, charged him on falsifying his book of accounts. They charged him for paying money to a striptease girl and then not showing it in the books, falsifying the accounts. And I'm told there were about 70 to 80 charges framed against Trump. And the idea was very simple, that he should be sent to either jail, debarred from contesting, and that would be the end of Donald Trump. Now, when all that is looking like failing, and then this rightist, leftist group decided that they must get him executed, killed. And that is how is the genesis of this happened. Now, I don't know who the gunman was, and probably they'll try to find out or whatever it may be, but I think there was a lot of security lapses also in this entire episode. There are many people who have seen the gunman on the roof and they were shouting. I think videos can be seen, I've seen those videos. He's got a gun, but nothing is happening. And there was a sniper, that is a counter sniper on the roof, who saw the gunman and he didn't fire immediately. Now that's a mystery. I think hope they'll check on that. And he fired only once. This man had fired at least 7 or 8 bullets. And then, of course, one of the bullets hit the brain of this man. He died. He was a 20-year-old man. Nothing much is known about him. Probably nothing will come out, though the FBI is investigating. Biden, of course, has said that violence has no place in American society, but it's easier said than done, because everywhere there's violence in America now. And a lot of it is being instigated by the Afro-Americans, the Africans, the blacks. They are the ones. And they are the ones who are feeling that if Trump comes back to power, then they will be marginalized. It's something like the Muslims in India feeling that Modi must be destroyed come what may. Because if Modi comes back to power, we will be destroyed. They fail to understand that Modi was talking of Sabka Vikas, Sabka Progress. I mean, he wanted that everybody will progress, and the Muslims are also going to progress along with him. In fact, they got a lot of benefits. But then, they're all decided that Modi must be sent out of the Prime Minister's seat. There have been attempts. I think Modi is also under threat, and he should be very, very careful. Because the extreme left and these minority groups, they are the ones who are instigating this problem. And we'll have to be very careful what happens in the future now. Trump, of course, has survived this thing, and as it stands, I think he will win the election. But just imagine, I'm told by my friend in America that none of the mainstream newspapers, including the screen on Madison Square in New York, is showing anything about the shooting and the attempt on life of Trump. You can draw your own conclusions. How long are they going to hide the news? And the fact that he's alive and kicking is something, it must be very difficult for them to judge. And so many American presidents have been killed earlier. We know of the case of John Kennedy being killed much earlier. So many were shot dead. Even Reagan got 4 bullets, but he survived. And then we come to this man, Obama. Now, Obama, I don't think he's organized all this. I think that's not there. But he's a man who's got a latent Islamic tendency, and I don't think he's the friend of America, whatever you say. He is, in a way, is like, the white ant will eat inside, and he's eating into the American edifice. And he's the man who wants Joe Biden to continue as president, because then all the power will again be vested with him, that is Obama. He's running the administration for the last 4 years. All the appointments are made by him, and the cabinet, I'm told, is reporting to him. And Biden, of course, has made a fool of himself in the last NATO conference, as you know. He referred to Zelensky as Putin, and he referred to the vice president as Donald Trump. So you can well just imagine. I mean, I'll not make no comment on his medical condition. That's for you all to judge. That would a sane man be doing such things? And now he's not backing down. But that's a good thing, I would say, because that should be the road clear for Trump to win. But again, many slip with the cup in the lip. And this election is still a few months away. And all these anti-Trump forces who don't want to follow what Trump wants to do, that means revolutionary steps, they would still like to get rid of this man. So that once they get rid of him, well, everything would be fine, honky-dory. Biden could come back to power and continue the war in Ukraine. The military-economic complex would keep on churning billions of dollars, and the European powers would be happy. They don't have to pay anything for the defense, and keep on keeping the defense, keep the pot boiling in the Ukraine. But everything is turning sour, everything does. And the European powers have realized by now that they can't beat Russia. So they're pressing America to take more and more an active stand in Ukraine. It's a very dangerous thing. Another thing we must remember is that America has got commitment in Southeast Asia, for which they want to rope in India. Easier said than done, and Modi's got to be very careful, doesn't fall into the American trap. I would say Biden's trap, either to join NATO or anything like that and go with China or something like that. It's not worth the effort, unless, of course, China attacks India. In that case, there will be nothing which Modi can do. Gentlemen, coming back to the American political scene, I think it's in a great turmoil. And it's a very sad situation that a candidate who's contesting for election to the top seat of the American government, that is the presidency, has faced an assassination attempt. I think if just the bullet had been an inch to the left, it would have killed him. Donald Trump would have hit his brain and he would have gone to the next world. Well, we don't know what's happened. Why this man did it, I mean, they can get a lot of history about him, but it's irrelevant. The fact is, there is some bigger force behind which is controlling all this. And I don't think that force is going to be unmasked. Nobody will know who's done it. Like, for example, Kennedy was shot dead until there were so many commissions of inquiry. There was a Warren Commission and all that, and nothing came out. I don't think anything came out of it. And the man who had shot him was then shot dead by a gentleman called Ruby, and Lee Oswald was the killer, and Jack Ruby shot him. So it was the end of everything. So, gentlemen, it's a very sad situation, I would say. And our Prime Minister Modi has recorded his anguish about the attack on his friend Donald Trump, and we'll have to wait and see what's happening in the future now. But as it stands, Trump is fighting, and as it stands, I think he could win the 2020 election, because people all over America would realize the nefarious design of the leftists and other forces who are running the socio-economic military complex in America and want to get Trump out of the way. Well, gentlemen, I hope you like my video. Share it with your friends and come back for more. If I get any further input on this issue, I'll certainly come back to you. In the meanwhile, I'll say goodbye and God bless. Thank you.